Good morning and welcome. This is Pastor Lucy Painter with your daily insight. And this week we are going to do a recap on gratitude. Thank you so much for your support, for your messages, for subscribing to our pod web. The address for our pod web is podcast.pastorlucypainter.com. Again, podcast.pastorlucypainter.com. Remember, you can leave a voice message, you can leave a question, a suggestion, a comment, a like, and God will bless you. Here is a recap of gratitude series. Blessings. Good morning and welcome. This is Pastor Lucy Painter with your daily insight. And today we continue with our topic on gratitude. And this day I want us to see the relation between gratitude and watchfulness in prayer. And we are going to look at Colossians chapter 4 and verse 2. Colossians chapter 4 and verse 2, and we are going to notice the relationship or the connection between watchfulness and gratitude. Watchfulness and gratitude. Continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. Or more literally, the Bible says, being watchful in it by thanksgiving. So the idea of watchfulness is vigilance and alertness. So I want us to talk about that. And you can recall in the Garden of Gethsemane how Jesus rebuked the sleepy disciples. He told them, watch and pray that you may not enter into temptations. In other words, he told them, guard yourself against the temptation by watching in prayer, by being alert and vigilant. And now here in Colossians chapter 4 verse 2, he says that the way we watch is with thanksgiving. You guard yourself with gratitude. I want you to mark that. You guard yourself with gratitude. Have you ever thought about gratitude as a guard? Gratitude as a guard. So I read this interesting story. I think I read it from John Piper, one of those ministers who was preaching in the 80s. And he talked about this city that was besieged by the enemy. And in the city, there were enemy sympathizers. But one of the people learned one thing. There was a song that the enemies and the enemy sympathizers could not tolerate. And so when this person learned that song, he decided to teach the people the song. And so everybody learned the song. They could sing the song near the enemy sympathizers and they could not do anything. They learned the song. They sang the song in their houses. They started singing the song in the street. They started singing the song outside of the city. They started singing the song all the way outside, all the way to the enemy's camp until the enemy had to move and leave them alone. And then in conclusion, John Piper said that this song was the song of thanksgiving. And he said, it is the same way. If there is a song that the enemy does not want us to sing, is a song of thanksgiving. And in the same way that the devil is our enemy, we also have the enemy sympathizers, the desires of the flesh and the worldliness and the corruption of the flesh. And if there is a song that the flesh does not want us to sing, is the song of thanksgiving, the song of gratitude. So, have you ever thought of gratitude as a guard? So, listen again to Colossians chapter 4 verse 2. Guard yourself with gratitude. So when Satan deploys his forces against you, he instructs those forces not to focus their energies on the prayerless believers, but on the saints, on you who perseveres in prayers. Wherever you go onto your face before God in prayer, It is as though you put your knee into a bee nest of evil. And they swarm around your head and do all they can to divert your attention and to dampen your zeal and discourage your heart and diminish your faith. And so Paul tells us to watch out and not to give in, but to cover ourselves with a net. Think about that scenario. And that the bees can't get through. And he calls the net thanksgiving. Continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. Guard yourself with gratitude. In Philippians 4:6-7, he says, in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. So, in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made to God. I'm going to repeat that again. In everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is not left out. Let your request be known to God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your heart and minds in Christ Jesus. It will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Gratitude as a guardian is a guard. Guard yourself with gratitude. Guard yourself with gratitude. You know, it's very, very important for us to guard our heart, even from the deception of the enemy, not only in the times of watchfulness in prayer, but also from the deception of the enemy. From our main text in the book of Colossians, chapter 2, Paul talks about the deceit that the enemy is going to bring and the people who try to bring controversy. And he talks about it and says, do not be deceived. And I know it is possible to be encouraged and not to be thankful. But we can guard our hearts from every deceit through thanksgiving. In Romans 1:12, Paul accuses those who have seen the evidence of God's power and deity in nature, but have not responded with gratitude. And listen to what he says. He says, although they knew God and they did not glorify him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking and their senseless minds were darkened. Listen. In other words, if your heart does not respond to God with gratitude, once you see God's power, once you experience him, once you see what he is doing, once you see the evidence of God's existence, if you do not respond to him with thanksgiving, then your mind is darkened. It says, even though they knew God, they did not glorify him as God. They did not give thanks to him, but they became futile. And that is what is happening to many in our generation. Even though they know, their whole nature says and screams, God exists, there is God. But even though they know, even though there is evidence, they do not glorify him. Some choose not to glorify him as God or give thanks to him. And so they become futile in their thinking and their senseless minds were darkened. That's what happened in the Old Testament. And in other words, that is what is happening in our days. So in other words, that is what happens if you do not respond to God with gratitude. Your mind is darkened. You surrender yourself to the blinding work of Satan. And so today we know that gratitude is the guardian of the lamp of the soul. And if the guardian dies, the lamp goes out. So guard yourself with gratitude. Guard yourself with gratitude. Guard yourself with gratitude. Guard yourself with gratitude so that your mind will not be darkened and the deceit of the enemy will not take root in your mind or in your heart. Guard yourself in prayer, watchfulness in prayer, because gratitude is a guard. May God bless you. This is Pastor Lucy Painter with your daily insight, and this is Gratitude Day 3. Shalom.